Yeah, hello guys. Welcome to Mining Devs, right? We are starting this new series called Women Developers, right? So where we are inviting all the top women builders into the cryptocurrency and blockchain space. And for the first interview, we have with us Poorvi, right? Head of Operations and Head of Developer Adoption at Tezos India. Hi Poorvi, welcome to the interview.
Hi Sahil, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Before we start out the interview, right, I just wanted to introduce our community to Poorvi, right? But is our background, right? So in the past, Poorvi has worked with big companies like American Express, Shell, and now she's heading the developer adoption, and along with the other team members, Tezos is creating a huge impact into the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, particularly into the Indian region, right? So, Purvi, starting out this interview, right? I just wanted to put out first question. That is that nowadays there's a lot of debate, that developers should look at the most one of the most hot topics into the space, Web3, right? They should opt out for a Web3 company rather than a traditional company that are into the Web2 space. So, what's your take on to that point?
Yeah, so myself, I was also into Web2 for a long time now, so I think I'm the right person to answer this.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, Thanks for the question, Sahil. I feel that when you look at Web2 and when you see that how it evolved, right? When people talk about that internet era and then Web2 and now Web3, you have seen that ultimately in Web2, we see a lot of hierarchies that have cropped up, right? If there's an organization, you'll see there's a manager, then there's a intern, there's this assistant, right?
Yeah,
And there's a lot of reporting and hierarchy. Whereas in Web3, when you see it's very open. It's a culture where you can collaborate with everyone and anyone
yeah,
without those barriers and the ceilings, the glass ceilings that are there. So
yeah,
anyone who's looking for making a change, for bringing about a change, because a lot of us complain that the jobs that we're doing are very monotonous in Web 2 because you have to do the similar thing daily. You can definitely get some good projects, but then at the end of the day your job entails specific roles, duties, responsibilities that you have to do. But in Web 3 you can explore, you can carve out your own career path, and
yeah.
that's where I feel there's a lot of freedom. So it's the similar debate that you have whether you want to be a freelancer or you want to work 9 to 5. So people who want to take up those challenges in life and make a difference to what they're doing or stand out or share their talent and expertise in such a way that they can be a part of marketing as well as they can develop or they can grow the ecosystem along with sharing some business development insight. So there's no bar to what you can do in this space.
Yeah, perfectly summed up for us. In the space, right? Companies also allow people to, join other DAOs, right? Work for the collective good, right? So अगर हम देखें वेब टू में ये सब नहीं होता है ना, companies discourage that you cannot work for other organizations, right? But into Web3, this is the one of the first niches जहाँ पे it is actively encouraged to join other DAOs, right?
Yeah, of course. If you see that there are a lot of communities that I've not seen people working just for one company in Web3, right?
Yeah,
So I've seen people who've been actively collaborating with various communities that are part of Discord channels, and they have their own startup. They're also contributing. So yeah, of course, that is definitely a plus because someone who's looking to explore in various directions at the same time can definitely do that.
yeah. And Purvi, when we talk about one should go and explore Web3 space, right? A question, whenever we organize webinars, we have done for Tezos into the past. The one question that we face is where is the one starting point, right? कहाँ से शुरू करें? What are the resources that we should do, right? And because you also understand that in Web3 space, it's not that easy to just enter and start doing things, right? Because there are a lot of some resources are at some point and you do need to join discords because this is not a traditional way of doing things, right? So
Yeah.
what is your advice to those people who wanted to enter this space but are stuck at this space, how to start their journey, what is that single point that you advise to these people?
Okay, so anyone who wants to start or begin in this space, first they need to know that what is it that they're looking at? Are they going to develop something? Are they going to contribute to the ecosystem in general by being a marketer or a social media influencer? Or are they looking at building some business development relations for the team, right? So, what is your area of expertise? And basis that, what is it that you're looking at? Secondly, if you are like, let's suppose you are a developer, that's where the entire interest lies. A lot of people, they just want to start creating something in this space. So if you're a developer, you should definitely look at the various blockchains that are there, that what they have to offer, and how does it align with your interests. So if you are looking for developing a marketplace, you need to see that what are the tools that are already available for you to create it, and what is the use case, what is the need to do that in that particular ecosystem. Thirdly, you also need to see your developer persona. What I mean by that is based on your experience, based on your expertise. Experience, I mean, whether you are an undergraduate, you are a student, college graduate, or you are a skilled professional, based on your expertise, whether you are a basic developer, intermediate, advanced, based on your tech stack that you're using, that is very essential. If you're already thorough with Python, JavaScript, Lego, OCaml, etc. Or finally, whether you know about the space in general, like what are the various protocols have to offer. So once you build this sort of understanding for yourself, that is the starting point, and that is what helps you decide which blockchain you need to choose and what you want to do with it. And exactly like you see for Tezos, right? Tezos is majorly written in SmartPy. Smart contracts are majorly written in SmartPy and Lego. So if you are a Python developer already, I would definitely recommend you to explore this space, because for you, building something in this space would be fairly much easier than any other protocol for that matter.
Yeah. So, you mentioned about how to start this journey. So, I wanted to understand how exactly what was your starting point, how you, changed your career trajectory and, shifted to Web3 space, and now you are heading Tezos India, right? So, how that happened?
For me, it was completely different because, like I said, I was an engineer initially. So I started my career in Hadoop and big data. Worked there for 3 years. Then I had my own startup in retail. Post that, I did an MBA and moved to strategy. So I've explored a lot of opportunities. For me, getting into Web3 was like experiencing and exploring, because that's the kind of a person I've always been. I like to explore. And that's where, when I met a friend who was in Web3 and told me about the space and talked to me about DeFi, that intrigued me a lot. That, the entire concept of DeFi, because I was already trading on centralized exchanges like stock trading, etc., way before. So for me, this was fairly a new concept, and I just got intrigued by that and got an opportunity in Tezos. And considering my background and being a developer myself, I thought that having a developer option lead role was the best suited for me. So for me, it was more about experiencing and experimenting and aligning my interest with it. But for someone who already knows what it is, can look at their roles and obviously matching your expertise. That's what you have been doing in Web 2 also. You always feel that you're a good fit for this or you're not a good fit for that, right? And that's what I also analyze for myself, that maybe I can be a good contributor for this developer adoption part rather than, being into marketing or something else.
Yeah, and do you suggest the starting point to DAO contributors? You start your journey as a DAO contributor. Might
Yes.
start with creating some memes, write some deep dives, or enter as a bounties. There are a lot of bounties available on different platforms. So on that part,
Yeah, yeah, obviously. So, like I said, that the journey I was sharing was more from developer perspective. But if you want to do, like before, also I mentioned, it depends on what you want to do. That's the first
yeah,
step. Whether you want to contribute, you want to be a social media influencer, or you want to contribute to an existing ecosystem, like be a part of the Discord community and do some sort of engagement there, write content. There are ample lot of opportunities, and since this is new, this is just the beginning. You won't find a lot of barriers or hindrance in getting into doing what you want to, and a lot of projects are there. If you see a lot of NFT projects, they are trying to build communities around. They're trying to form DAOs, a lot of normal DAOs.
yeah.
There you can be a member and contribute, obviously.
Got it. And Purvi, after the 30% taxation, right, and TDS thing, right? there is a lot of uncertainty, right? In terms of it is also impacting not just the retail user who are buying and selling crypto, but also the developer side of things, right? Recently, we see the news of Polygon stopping their grants totally into India, right? How this is impacting the developer side of things, because they used to disperse $500,000 grants, right? And there are a lot of Indian projects that are not getting grants now for Polygon, right? So how do you see that, sort of a thing, regulatory and consultancy, because you are at Tezos, right, receiving a lot of applications similarly for your grants program, and how you guys are dealing with that part?
I'm not really sure if this is about the 30% taxation or in general the beer market, right? It could be because of any of the reasons. If it is about, I personally don't want to comment on the 30% taxation part because honestly, that is something, not my expertise in, right?
Yeah,
But for beer market, I can definitely say that there will be more scrutiny, although I do not see any holding back on the grants from Tezos front. We are still providing grants to a lot of projects who we feel have a lot of potential.
yeah,
But definitely you would be more careful about spending that money now, right? Because of a lot of things that have happened in the past few months.
yeah,
And that's there. But again, having said that, I am seeing a lot of investment firms still keeping a lot of buffer for crypto funds,
yeah,
right? And that too, we hear like weekly now. I'm setting aside $500 million fund, $1 million fund, right? $100 million fund. So this is being done by a very big, a lot of centralized exchanges in this space who are investing, and also
yeah.
normal investors, big investors. So they're still keeping it aside. They're still having those crypto funds and funding a lot of projects on a daily basis. But obviously they'll be more cautious in doing that now.
Yeah. And Purvi, you mentioned in one of your answers that, then you select the chain to start building, right? I understand it's more or less related to the tech stack they, generally do, right? And they are, expert into. One should select that chain only, right? So, for example, when we are, educating people or different chains, right? We are doing webinars, we go into colleges, right? One thing that, stood out is, people ask, what is that project that we should whether to build onto Tezos or any other chain, right? So how one should come at this conclusion, because selecting a chain is very essential for any project, future, right? Every community will be revolved around it. So how do you suggest to select a chain? What are the components that one should look at it?
Okay. I might sound a little biased here, but honestly, I'll be very honest because that's one of the reason I also chose Tezos over any other blockchain. We need to always see Tezos is not the first blockchain for sure, but it's gonna be the last. It's like built to last. Though if you see
Yeah,
its fundamentals and core, how the core protocol has been written, it's self-upgradable, and that's a very important feature. If you see, like in
yeah,
Ethereum, they are trying to merge Ethereum 2.0 with Tezos. It's not a problem. You can always stay abreast, uh, of other blockchains because you can literally self upgrade yourself overnight. You can see that with Tezos and a lot of other features like formal verification that helps you write less buggy codes, etc.
yeah,
So obviously, for developer perspective, Tezos is a go-to chain, and considering that we are building, growing the ecosystem and building a lot of resources. The only challenge that the developers were facing initially, like 6 or 7 months back, was that they were not getting a lot of resources. They were just stuck with, if they are stuck with a problem, then they need to ask the community and get it sorted. But now we have like a lot of resources also. So from a developer perspective, there's no issue anymore. But if still, like, as a neutral stance, I would still say that tech stack is very important because if you are able to learn or grasp the concepts of writing a code in Solidity, Rust, SmartPy, Lego sooner, then it kind of really helps with the app development. Secondly, you can also look at the other products that are there on that chain and try to see that how the ecosystem and the community is. With Tezos, I myself have connected a lot of new evolving dApps with the existing players in the ecosystem and try to integrate their products. So when you get that kind of support, it really helps. If I'm building something and I'm ready to give that as an API to integrate on other platforms that are there, and literally able to do that very easily, then that really helps. And it's very collaborative at this point of time, and really good in gaming and metaverse and focusing on grants on these parts.
Got it. Purvi, there, as you mentioned that about Tezos, right? So if you can, shed some light, what are the initiatives that Tezos India is taking up for the builders, right? To incentivize or to help them, build onto Tezos, right? So that our community can understand exactly all the features, all the programs that are currently running up, and people can contact or maybe start their career path and build something onto Tezos.
Okay. For Tezos, first of all, we need to see that there are, like I have mentioned, that there are a lot of paths that you can take up with us. You can start, obviously, you can start learning from the resources that are there, and then you can either enroll yourself for the various hackathons that are going on. We have also accelerator and pre-accelerator programs. Currently, there is an Encode accelerator program that is running. Then there are pre-accelerator programs like Tezos India Fellowship, which is like an 8 weeks course where you earn stipends and you build something. There are one-on-one mentorships and workshop sessions that help you on the overall product life cycle, like how do you pitch, how do you create a proposal, how do you do fundraising, etc. If not this, you can also apply for small grants. So there are a lot of projects who just come to us with a proposal, and there are a couple of milestones. There's a timeline, etc. They fill out the forms and they easily get those small grants uh, to start building. And obviously there's a financial support, but as a part of small grants, we're also helping them build product strategy, help them find the product market fit. We are also giving them, helping, assisting them with the marketing. We are connecting them with other ecosystem partners. So this is end to end basically. Once you enroll yourself for small grant, we help you in every step in order to take your project to the mainnet. Apart from that, if like you have built something as a part of small grants which has a check size of 25K dollars, you can apply for a bigger grant. Let's say you want to scale your project further, you want to add more features. For that, you will get 50 to 100K dollars of check size, which is huge. Or you can also go on Tezos.com and apply for Tezos bounty. So there are 4 problem statements that they'll keep updating it. You can
Yeah.
just try to attempt any of those problems and earn bounties. Or you can like simply join a team. There are a lot of dapps that are building on Tezos, so we also give hiring opportunities. In fact, in Tezos India only, we have a lot of openings for full stack developer right now, blockchain developers. So yeah, and a lot of Tezos entities, Tezos ecosystem entities like Trinitech, Nomadic Labs, TZ Connect, all across like global entities, they are all hiring, and there's everything is available on Tezos.com. There was Tezos Career Fair on Reddit recently, so you can get hired there as well.
Got it, got it. So Purvi, I just wanted to you you're working at Tezos, right? So obviously daily basis, people will be contacting you with their projects, right? Is there any interesting project out of the box idea that you recently encountered, you come across, right? Whether they are building on Tezos or any other chain, right? So if you can share any idea that you think can change things up
Mm-hmm.
in the recent times.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel since this is very close to my heart, I mean, I myself was into art for a long time. So we are just trying to build art and culture vertical for Tezos India. And we are collaborating with a lot of artists to mint their NFTs on Tezos. We are doing like workshops, getting, building small community spaces for them to come and learn from us. And this was the issue that we were facing a lot of times, where they have art pieces, but there's a lot of work in putting all of that, minting everything and putting on onto the marketplaces, and also deciding on a lot of price points, like what should be the price point, what should be the initial collection, how much threshold we should put, benchmarking, etc., etc., right? A lot of stuff that goes around it. So we were literally looking for a developer who can help us with that. Recently, in fact, yesterday I was a part of Encode Hackathon that happened. So there was this Encode Hackathon for Tezos where the finalists were presenting their work. And there was this project called Make My NFT, which was very similar to what we were looking for. So you can Literally, as an artist, you just need to have your own collection, use their platform, fill out the form, the basics like what should be the minting price, how many should be available for pre-sale, post-sale, and that's it. It's just a simple contract. You just fill out the form and you are able to literally drop your NFT collection there.
Got it.
Just fill it.
And that's quite amazing, and we'll be really looking forward to when and get lives, right? And whenever one wants to build something, right? The problem is whether which domain they should build, right? Whether it's a DeFi protocol, NFT marketplace, right? Or in altogether their own metaverse, right? So how do you guide to somebody who's quite new, right? Because people are generally now fascinated towards metaverse, right? And there its own challenges, right? We have seen in the recent news what happens with metaverse, right? That building tech into metaverse is quite difficult, right? And so how do you suggest onto that part, how somebody should select the kind of startup or the project that they should build into Web3 space?
Okay. If you want to build something in Web3, first you need to first gauge on the new ideas and the use cases. So if I'm trying to build something on metaverse angle, or I want to build a game, let's say, I want to see that how it is going to be different than the existing games. Obviously, there should be some sort of use case. There should be some sort of product market fit as well. If I
Yeah,
create something, let's say a snooker game today, and not even going to get like 2% people who will be interested in it, then it doesn't make sense. Maybe I
yeah,
can launch a token and airdrop and get some initial users, but that's not sustainable, right?
yeah,
So first of all, we need to always see that whatever you're building has a proper use case, and it is something that should create some sort of value for the user. If it's a game, then people should literally be interested in playing that game even free of cost, like even if it isn't making any money for them.
yeah,
Because money is the next step. First is the interest,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Secondly, if you're building something that is pre-existing, let's say I'm building a marketplace like OpenSea,
Yeah,
then I need to know that how can I be different and better?
yeah,
What is that one feature that I can provide and OpenSea cannot mimic or copy or buy?
yeah,
Right? These are the two major things that this is very obvious. This is obvious for Web2 companies also. If you're building something like Google, then you need to see how it is different than Google. Or if you're building something offbeat, then you need to see what is the use case that I'm bringing.
yeah. Exactly. Purvi, the series that we have started with you as a first interview is called Women Builders of India, right? Where we are interviewing all the top women into the space, right? And if you can tell us more about any sort of initiatives that Tezos India particularly aligned towards woman empowerment, bringing more women. Already there are a lot of faces that are coming into this space, right? But whenever we talk about the big names, there is CJ, Brian, right? Like and Vitalik, right? But there is on the top ladder, right? There are already women working really great into crypto, right? So what are the initiatives at Tezos India that you guys are promoting up so that more and more women can join Web3 space?
In This Is India, we started this campaign, Tez Her. Initially, basically, we started Women in Crypto campaign. We thought of starting with Tez Her, but then we felt that it's not specific to Tezos. We, in general, want more women in this community, so we expanded it for all the other blockchains. We invited top leaders from Polygon, Solana to speak on a forum wherein we had all the women participants who were listening in and who joined us. We did frequent AMAs, etc. So we did it during the month of March, the International Women's Day, around that. And luckily, we were really excited and surprised to see so many women turning up for the event. It was like a campaign that that was like a month long campaign, wherein we had sessions, we had panel discussions with women, we had panel discussions on NFTs, we had panel discussions in general on how we can be women entrepreneurs in the system. We did AMAs. We also facilitated one on one mentorship to these folks. But having said that, this was just a 1 month campaign. In order to continue this, we kind of want to repeat this again and again, and with the support of other blockchains and protocols, we can definitely take it to the next level. If you see, there are a lot of communities that are also coming up, like Super Women DAO, and
Yeah,
where you get to interact with a lot of women. Myself personally, initially when I used to go to meetups, I was the only woman sitting there. But now I see a couple of known faces who are just attending those meetups with me, and getting to know a lot of other women folk. Definitely, it'll be slow. The growth will
yeah,
be slow, but it's there. And whatever bit we can do at Tezos India, we kind of do. We just did a campaign. In fact, we were thinking, now we're running a Tez India hackathon, so we were thinking we'll do one special session for women here as well. And
yeah.
going forward, we'll do more and more. But we don't want to keep it strictly to Tezos. We want it for the entire community to come and join us and talk about it, basically.
Yeah, exactly. That makes more sense, right? And we are seeing that there are a lot of more and more women are coming into this space, right? And obviously, there are these initiatives like Women in Crypto and a lot of other DAOs that are focused towards women empowerment will make things more clear for that, right?
Yeah.
And at the last question that after that we will be ending up. So or to all the women who are listening to this interview, watching this, right? What is your message, right? Exactly, that how they should start their journey, right? And they're obviously in tech, it is male dominated thing, right? And now we have a lot of personalities that we can look up to, right, who are building million billion dollars projects into this space, right? So what is your message to all the people and all the women out there regarding Web3, that how they can start their journeys?
My message would basically be common for women and men in general. I don't want to segregate it because it's a space that's very welcoming for women, unlike other places, other where we have barriers, right? But here I don't see that much.
Yeah,
Uh, in order to stand out, all you need to do is just go out there, experiment, explore. Good thing is that there's a lot of demand and less of supply at this point of time. So if you'll be entering now, you'll be entering, at the time where you'll be like the first ones to get into the space. Still,
yeah,
it's new. Still, it's evolving.
yeah,
So my message is that if you're a developer or any skill, anything that you want to do, you are a creative writer, you are an artist. There are a lot of opportunities in this entire ecosystem that you can experiment with, you can explore, you can get in touch with a lot of communities out there. And specifically, if you're a woman, you can also join Super Women DAO and other communities that are. I'm sorry, I don't know all the names, but you can explore that on Twitter, of course,
yeah,
and you can get in touch with other women to know more. And you can simply just, if you feel that there's a dearth of opportunity because you're not able to connect with the right audience, you can just simply, even if you put it on Twitter that you are this and this is your skill and share a resume, I'm sure that there are a lot of people who will connect you with the right
yeah,
person who can help you get that job or whatever. So
yeah.
a lot of opportunities are there. Just keep exploring. And to women, men, everyone who's skilled and wants to get into this space, I don't want us to be a part of it. I just want us to be driving this thing.
Yeah, that's the ethos of the whole crypto space, right? That's we all gonna make it, right? And it's
Yeah.
all together we'll be building things up, right? Thank you so much, Poorvi, for this interview, right? And making our people community understand what exactly is happening at Tezos, right? What was your journey, and how guiding people and how they can start their first project or the first step into the Web3 space, right? And encouraging more and more women to join this space, right? I hope you also enjoyed this interview.
Thank you. Thank you. I loved it. Thanks, Sahil.